Vi ser fram emot att alldeles strax få prata och höra mer om bolaget DecideAct. DecideAct är ett bolag som är just nu inne i en teckningsperiod och inför att noteras på listan First North inom kort. DecideAct har en mjukvarulösning som ska hjälpa bolag att fatta de rätta strategiska besluten. So Flemming, are you with us now? Do you have a better connection?
I hope so.
Okay, so
at least I hope you can hear me now.
Let's not waste any time. So please go ahead, Flemming.
Yes, okay. So sorry if I'm repeating myself from before. I don't know if anybody heard me, but DecideAct is a cloud platform for strategy execution management. And it's a new industry where we are heading, trying to be the market leader during the next couple of years. If I just should put very briefly what is it we are doing. First of all, DecideAct is a GPS for your strategy, which helps you to implement it. And that means that like when you go from A to B by your car and you put on your GPS, then we can help you exactly to tell you where are you on your strategic roadmap. Are there any hinderings, and where should you have a focus because something is out of track? The other part you can compare DecideAct with is DecideAct is for your strategy what your economy system is for your finances. So basically, we offer a top-down governance platform which helps boards, executives to do a cascade of strategy all through the organization, and be able to follow what is happening on specific strategic priorities and departments, on following on people, or could even be on multiple organizations if it's a group company with daughter companies. The other part the system does, or the solution does, is actually to offer a bottom-up engagement. So that means through, among other things, mobile apps, it's possible for any employee in the organization to basically carry a strategy in their pocket. So we actually solve that problem that you both can have the top down, but you also have the bottom up engagement, which is basically the business execution of the strategy. So where are we heading? We are scaling into 10 countries over the next 3 years. There's a good perspective of our annual recurring revenue, which is expected to be just a little less than 57 million Danish kroner end of 2023. We are during the coming year completing version 3 of the product. We have started to build a quite strong sales organization, and one of our aims is to capture the global knowledge domain within strategy execution management. So why is this attractive really? It is attractive because first of all, strategy execution management, or SEM, is a new space, and it's very exciting actually. All businesses work with strategy in general, at least most of them, also a lot of public organizations. We have an attractive business model which is based on recurring revenue or subscription model. We can offer expertise on subscription. That means we can help your organization with the needed knowledge to be excellent in implementing strategy. And then we have an expert teams which can help, and it's based on both internal and external experts, which is also a lot of thought leaders. So are we good at executing, or can we execute? Yes, in fact, that's why we exist. So what we are good at doing is, of course, making things happen, which we also can help our subscribers with. Very shortly, we started this journey in 2015, and we are 2020 now, have had several minimal viable versions, and launched our first commercial solution in 2019. And then what's coming ahead is a lot of benchmarking data, blockchain, and other stuff like that, later supported by AI. If you just look at what are the financial perspectives of a case like ours, first of all, we expect an annual recurring revenue end of 2021 of 9.5 million Danish kroner. In 22, it will kind of be a little bit more than doubled and went to 23 million. And as I mentioned before, 57 in 2023. So basically, it's could look like a lot, but we actually find this to be a quite realistic case. I will tell you a little bit more about that when I go further down. So, might want to look in, why does this problem exist? The fact is that actually $3 million is wasted every minute in strategies that never get implemented or do not reach their goals. This is not something we have made up. This is something that is documented by the Global Product Management Institute and Brightline Initiative, which focus only on how can we build a bridge between strategy, design, and delivery. Added to that, then when you look at large organizations, and that means enterprises, then only 11% of them have some kind of system to follow up on their strategy. But most of those who have something, that's based on Excels and other homemade stuff. So there's a huge opportunity here. The other reason for this problem is that organizations do not link incentives to a strategy, and that's very easy to do with our system when you also can engage people through the mobile app to single initiatives. Another problem is, of course, if you cannot be engaged, it can be very difficult to understand your strategy. And then a lot doesn't track their KPIs against competitors. So this is not a new problem. It actually existed since the last 75 years, I would claim. So in the 50s when we started to work with strategy in businesses. And the problem today is really that strategy implementation that is old-fashioned, it's manual, and it's not tangible. There's no systematic approach to it, and employees does not understand the strategy, and that keeps actually executives and boards in the dark. They cannot follow time by time or at any instant minute see where are we at the strategy. We can offer that. So the opportunity is there, of course, and it's not something that we have made up ourselves. If you look into Gartner, the world's biggest research organization within, among other things, IT, they say that there's a big opportunity here in the coming years, and also claim that actually any large organization must have an SAM tool to work with strategy implementation in the future. And then you could, of course, imagine we are basically the same place where the CRM software was in 2007 before it went into the cloud. And today that's a market with more than 40 billion USD. So we are targeting any organization and all employees. So there should be a possibility in this market to grow as big as that. So some of the core things of the product which we are adding in the future is, of course, besides that we basically can help to implement, we can set up the governance, then we will start to work with artificial intelligence. We have already, through machine learning, built predictability schemes, which of course will be more and more intelligent as we have more and more data. And that means we, on a longer run, based on own data and also external data, will be able to have benchmarking strategic data as a knowledge platform, which we can, of course, sell as well. We will also offer expertise on subscription or counseling and coaching. And already next year, we will add a blockchain, a governance blockchain to our platform. Do we have customers? Yes, we do have customers. And when we started this journey, we actually started focusing on Iceland, where we were active and used that as a test market. And we have some of the largest organizations in Iceland as our customers, from anything from tourist industry, Blue Lagoon, to Samcup, which equals Co-op in Denmark and Sweden, and also the world's biggest producer of geothermal energy, Reykjavik Energy. And is there any value of these customers? If you look at our average customer, they now pay about 20,000 euros per year, which we expect to grow to around 35 over the next 3 years, and up to 40, 50 in 4 or 5 years per organization. The lifetime value is already around 1.25 million, and will grow to 1.9 over the coming years. And the contracted expected value we will have end of year would be about 37 million, go up to 484. The lifetime of a customer in this is around 9.7 years, as a very low churn, as the churn happens before they really enter the contract. So, and you might think, who is our target audience in the organization? And that's basically 4 to 5 person. It's of course the CEO, the CFO. Of course, if they have a chief strategy officer, CSO is also one we will address. And then this platform is extremely good to support corporate social responsibility activities and also supporting UN sustainability goals and monitoring how we're doing that. Except from that, of course, the board will always be, or the chairman, also a target to look into. We are mainly looking for organizations with more than 150 employees. If you look at the Northwestern market, European market, it's quite huge potential. But if you focus only on Denmark, there should be about 2,251 organizations that we could address and will address, and that does not include public administration. But we, of course, will also address public administration. And if you take a point where we at the target market in Iceland have about 6%, so if you compare that to the Nordic countries, then we will have more than 500 as potential customers during the next couple of years. We, though, have based our calculations on that we will only achieve half of that, so about 250 customers until 2023. So, how do we go to market? We, of course, are looking into 3 things. First of all, strong brand positioning, and we are building relationships and partnerships. And then, of course, we have a digital platform where we try to build a strong presence in the market. We believe very much to be a strong brand. We want to be the preferred brand for large organizations globally and also try to capture the knowledge domain. And how do we capture knowledge domain? We do that through some of our main activities around what we call the Bold Strategy Initiative, where the purpose is to rethink the way strategy is implemented. And in that sense, we work with a lot of different thought leaders globally, and doing webinars, conferences, guides, and books will also arrive. And some of them will also be part of our expertise team. So the revenue model of an organization like ours is basically based on strategy execution management as a self-service solution. It could be outsourced with a managed solution. And then, of course, we have the dedicated experts team. And we also have a quite strong team. We are actually born global, and which is maybe not that usual, but when we started 5-6 years ago, we started to work and build the strongest team we can find, and that means now we are split on 5 destinations. So we are basically in Berlin, Reykjavik, Copenhagen, Toronto, London, and also in Spain. But we have the best people there, and that will also help our scalability later. If we look into how we then will use the funds from IPO, which we are in the middle of, then we have a focus on 3 things. Actually, first of all, grow the sales, where we expect to allocate about 40% of the funds to grow our sales activities. Another part will be 35% will be actually added to build the brand, but also build the knowledge domain, which that's very well connected together. With a strong brand, it's easier to do sales activation. And thirdly, we, of course, are focusing on having a superior tech team, and, of course, constantly build our platform so it's very integratable, and also so we have, of course, a feature needed by our customers. Said about our platform that it's a very agile platform, and it's not bound to any specific methodology. We are actually agnostic to methodologies and can handle most strategic frameworks and methodologies. And then we also build to integrate with most systems. So we are a natural part of any large organization's information infrastructure. and coexist very well with CRM tools, the finance systems, ERP systems, HR systems, and product management systems. And we kind of are the aggregator, or you could say we are the cockpit. We can help you to implement your strategy and not only focus on one part of it. And then, of course, support and expertise is a natural part of all this. So bottom line is that if you look at our expected expansions, then we are basically aiming at the Nordics. We'll have partnerships in place in France and Canada, and some of them are already in place, actually. And we expect to then move in 22 towards Germany and UK, and later on in 23, we hope to enter USA. So I hope you find our company interesting and would like to join our growth journey and also be part of rethinking the way strategy is implemented. Maybe just to add for the last thing that there's an ongoing IPO, so which ends on the 9th of December. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Flemming. But what's wrong with the gut feeling?
What gut feeling?
That you can base your strategic decisions on if you're a CEO or in the management. Why do you need a platform? Why don't you trust your own gut feeling?
Well, any CEO would normally end the month have a balance sheet on the finances, right? And will not judge or judge the financials on their gut feelings. They will judge that based on actually facts. And that's what you don't have today when you look into strategy execution. You need to call for a meeting to get an overview. And of course, your gut feeling is important, but we believe if you have to have a strong governance, then it should be based on something that is measurable, quantifiable, and transparent, actually like finances are. And you can basically do that with strategy as well.
Okay, so DecideAct, your company is operating within the industry strategy execution management. It's a new industry. Could you give us like a short resume of this history? When did it start actually?
Yeah, I think it's
how old is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So how do you determine how old it is? But you can say that
Give or take.
Gartner, they started to cover this industry for 4 years ago. But I think it emerged, some of it's emerged out of project management. Some have emerged out of, if you look at Google and Intel, they have been working with specific strategic frameworks like OKR. But you can also go further back and say, balanced scorecard is a very old methodology in strategy.
Yeah.
So there have been a need for many years to see, could you kind of have an overview of this in a smarter way than in Excel on a piece of paper?
Yeah. What are the drivers, would you say, for this SME market strategy execution management?
Yeah, what is the driver? Yeah, what's driving it is that if you ask most executives, they will all agree with you that they have lost more than one part of a strategy in the implementation phase. So you can say that it's like executives have for the last 75 years walked around the hot pot, but not discovered that it became cold. So the driver here is that we need to do better. And nobody can live with a waste of $2 billion in a year, which equals the BNP of all Nordic countries.
Could you say in any way that the pandemic has affected your market?
I think that the pandemic affect strategy execution as such. Of course, we know things have become more agile. But during the pandemic, we have had even more need for be able to know where are we on our strategic priorities, and then be agile on the parts of it where we off track or we are suffering. And a tool like us can help that. The other part is that it also helps when you work alone together, which we have been doing for the last 6 years, but many organizations start to learn in March. This is a very easy way of monitoring goals and let's say, give up control to get it and trust your employees they will deliver on the strategic priorities.
Okay. As you mentioned, you're already out on the market. You're selling this platform and you already have customers. What is your market share today?
You cannot talk about a market share today. I
No.
think we have a very, very low part of that, but so have the competitors in general. It is a market which is emerging and has not yet hit the point where it really takes off, if you can say like that. So we want to conquer a big part of the market share, but and there will be enough for everyone. I think what you will face the coming year would be that there will be lack of suppliers.
Okay. Who are your competitors?
There are several competitors, of course. Most of them are more in a commodity market, which they are offering solutions within OKR and stuff like that. Others could be a Clear Point from US or Nexus and some of those larger ones. Yes.
And how do you differ from them? Why should a company choose your system and not a system from any of your competitors?
First of all, we are within the European jurisdiction, so we also live up to all the GDPR things. But except from that,
and your competitors don't, or
some of them are not active here yet for real. But I think the important point is that we on the expertise side has a very high level, and the system is built in collaboration with organization experts to really solve the needs there are today. We are very strong on the tech side. We are built on some of the most strongest technologies and most stable technologies, and are capable of integrating to kind of everything. And we have a very strong data model, which means we can also be very flexible and helping a large organization to solve the issues they have around these things.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit more about your revenue model?
Yes. It's quite simple. It's on subscription. We have a base fee when you enter a contract with us, and then it's based on per user.
So, how often will you upgrade the system? And
it's a continuously upgraded because we are a cloud platform. So that means as soon as we have new features, improved features, they will be upgraded day by day. And we have, of course, a long roadmap with a lot of extra nice features coming up in the coming years, and have a very good dialogue with existing customers to understand what are really the needs, so we can try to support those.
Okay. One thing that I would like to know a little bit, I mean, of course, you are using this platform yourself for your own strategic decisions. What kind of decisions were you helped by the system to make?
I'm not.
How are you using this platform to make your own decisions?
Yeah, we are.
Did it tell you, oh, you must raise your prices or you must fire a CEO? No, I'm just kidding. How can you profit from your own system?
Yeah, the way we profit from our own system, it's not a system that helps you to make the decision as such. It's a system that helps you actually to realize the benefits of the decision you have made, your strategic decision. So that means we know exactly on our different strategic priorities what has to happen, and then we can monitor it both by integrating the systems, but also people who are accountable for something. They will, of course, make sure things are updated, and we on a weekly basis can follow up on that on our meetings. Actually, maybe to illustrate what is this industry, then I think I have a little piece of Swedish history. In 1628, you built a warship called Vasa, and the strategy was actually to have a very strong machine that could make you probably beat Denmark and other countries around you. And the strategy was to build this ship with I think was 64 cannons. And what happened is that it went very well with the strategy, right? Till they built the ship, it sailed out of the harbor and it sank. And that's what happens to many strategies today. We don't realize the benefits of what we are doing, and that's very important when you talk about strategy execution. Also, the warship was to the benefit of that should of course be that you can win over Denmark or somebody else, or defense Sweden.
Oh, okay.
So it's very important to focus on the benefits, and that's what helps you to realize your benefits of your strategy.
Thank you. That's interesting. So now you're going public. You're going to First North. Can you just say what are your issue costs?
Yeah, the price of the share is 8.15 Danish kroner.
And how much is the issue cost for you?
You meaning how much does it cost us to go public?
Yeah.
The cost of that, that's around 3 million Danish kroner.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned that you will add the blockchain solution to your platform. What is the purpose for this?
The purpose of that is we call it a governance blockchain. Of course, all data is safe and stored on different servers around, but this is that basically you will always be able to follow the history of your strategy execution and see where were your certain point, and that makes it to make sure that we can prove that anything here is valid, and also an organization can have that and track what has happened at each point of time.
Okay, so thank you so much, and good luck with the listing and the development of the company. Thank you, Flemming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, and stay safe, of course.